every day I work 14 hours, 15, I start at 8, I finish at 10, then I come back at 8. And yeah, there's this adrenaline drive, just to achieve. But the achievement wasn't just because I'm successfully wanting to be successful and all that, but it's just part of life, wanting to do the best, wanting to be excellent. And pretty aggressive, yeah. Go-getter, I know what I want. At work, I was paid to solve problems, right? And I think because of the seniority I had at the rank and authority, the different countries reported into the headquarters, which I am in. And that's where I have the authority and power to, decide go, no go, to recommend. I put a lot of hours at work, a lot of, but I say this as if like all I am is work, right? It's not. So, but work dominated a large part of my life, and I was successful at my work. At home, right, it is really my small little family, So it was me, my husband, and my little girl. 5 days a week, it's work. At the end of the day, I go back, it's my family, and weekends. So it's a really quite a normal routine. Me and my husband, we had a lot of time where we traveled a lot. We were very good travelers. We had a lot of me time, and we talked a lot, we think a lot. It was so happy that I remembered one time we joined one tour group, right? They actually looked at us and said, "Hey, are you always this happy? Is this what marriage is? Then I was like shocked. I mean, I didn't expect that question. I had very good memories, of me traveling with my husband, and we touring. He was a cyclist, avid cyclist. So we were talking about doing road trips to France and all that for him, things like this. So those were some of the dreams that we had. We were planning some big moves during that year. And I was also going through a very intense moment. I remembered, when I got the call from the hospital, I will never forget. I saw his number. I was actually in a work conversation. Then when I picked up the phone, it was another voice. I was like, oh, okay. The doctor actually said this, "Hi, are you Mrs. Lee? I'm Dr. So-and-so. I'm calling from, this hospital, and I just want to inform you, I'm using your phone because your husband is in stroke." So my algorithm of solving problem was, okay, you got a problem, you solve lah. You're sick, you go and get the medicine, that's it. Then suddenly I held back and I was like, hey, wait, what is this new piece of information you see? Yeah, and I've never heard before, right? What is stroke? And then I had to draw another part of my mind, like, what's stroke? Oh my goodness, stroke is not good. It has to do with the brain. So I called back and I was like, can you repeat? What is going on? Is this a joke? No, this is a joke. I think you need to calm down. And suddenly everything flashed into my mind. I was like, wow, that one call you always dread? In our lives, we always dread that one call. That someone picks up someone's phone and it is not that person, right? And it is something that happened. And I got that call. And I was like, oh my God, what is going on? So I off the phone, I packed my bag and said, this is not right. I need to run. From then onwards, my life changed. Totally and completely. I literally saw them, wanting to keep him alive. I saw that he was in a seizure. I had to quickly make a decision, which I'm like, oh my goodness, I don't even know what's this whole thing about. And they tell me to tell me that they need to make a surgery right now and to remove a part of the skull bone. My brother-in-law also happens to be in the medical field. When I look at him, he didn't look at me. And I was like, oh my God, that's not a good sign. And I can only take the next logical step. And I'm like, doctor, I just want to keep him alive. What he suffered was brainstem stroke. It means, the brainstem, is actually the CPU of the entire body. And if it malfunctions, it doesn't work, the entire body is dead. It's called brain dead. I know this is me alone, right? Yeah. Because, can you imagine? This whole decision, I don't even know, I'm not even trained for it. There's no logical path. And I think the logical path for me was keep him alive. And yeah, that was it. I even asked the doctor this, can I buy a brain? If it's money, I'll pay, right? It's just about money, right? And I look at the whole group of doctors and they said, no, you can't. Then I said, can I do a transplant? No, you can't. And you will never believe, I had many prompters from the doctors, right, from the medical team, to even suggest that if by any chance, right, they see that he is failing, right, they will not resuscitate him, right. Can I give the go ahead? And I, for once, right, I've never done this before, I look at the doctors, I said, when I searched through Wikipedia, right, I saw the vocation doctor, and your job was to keep him alive. And you keep him alive, and that's your job. I didn't expect this coming. I got a call again at 1 a.m. Wow, this was the crazy day. This was a crazy night. The doctors actually called me and said, I think he is failing. His heart is failing. You need to come now. I didn't really know those words, When I saw the night shift doctors, right, they said, I think you need to call family. I was like, oh my goodness, what do you mean call family? Call family to pray? Huh? No. And I was having a little tussle with the doctor. I said, no, you can't. You must keep him alive. He said, no, the vitals are not good. You need to call the family. And I didn't call, They end up calling. And I couldn't believe it. That was the moment that his heart was failing already. And I didn't let go. I did the frantic, hysterical wife thing. I wanted to pump his heart. I didn't want to let go. And I used my hand to pump him for 4 hours. I didn't want to let go. No, we have to keep going, we have to keep going. And we still had people praying. We had a family outside, and I was like, oh my goodness. So from 2 to 6 a.m., right, I was pumping his heart. There was just so many things going around my mind. And the nurses want to give up, and I didn't want. Because 13 days I was battling for hope, right? Yeah, how could I let go of this moment? But finally, the doctors had to pull me out. They said, Don't, cannot. He has passed on already. You are pumping a dead body. Yeah, that was it. Yeah. It's a big void deck at our HDB area at that time. And I just stood there quietly, and I looked up to the sky and said, hey God, and this is me and God. I knew he will be healed, I knew that. But I felt in the depth of my heart, at the last minute, something changed. How come? And this again is a conversation between me and him. And I literally hear God say, Dawn, think now, what would Henry do? And I said, if he had a choice, he would think for me. He will stay in heaven on. He won't come back on. If it's me, I will come back and fight. But if it's my husband, because of his love for the family, he won't. And his love for me, he won't. He will stay in heaven. Why? Because if he's on earth, I will suffer. I have to take care of the rest of his life, right? And there will be so much tension in the family because of this, all these things, right? I mean, those are things that we can't run. And I was stunned, And God gave me that one word. He said, free will, Dawn, free will. I knew without shadow of doubt, right? My husband exercised his free will to stay in heaven. And I could reconcile that and had peace. My daughter was stunned, right? One day she saw her father. The next day, he's lying there and he's in the hospital. And the next day, now he's in a white box. I'll be honest, at that time, I didn't even rush to explain things to her. So what I did really after the funeral and all that, I took a 4-month break and I traveled. I just brought her and me and we just traveled. Because I didn't want to lose that, right? And for a young girl, she'll be very scared. One day she has 2 parents. The next day she has 1. I think in every human is a spirit of responsibility. I didn't indulge in, I wish he was here. Of course, right? I wish he was here. That's a given. But because I had so much of that, right? My memory tank of him was so good, I'll be frank. Every tour we had was really good, right? And I realized, wow, those were so important. At a time like this, right, I could draw, Yeah, and I was like, oh, if I was empty with him in that memory space, I wouldn't have anything to draw and I wouldn't have anything to give. So I had so much good memories in the traveling, right, with him. I could literally bring it over to Belle, right, and she could not feel any difference at all. And she was just having fun, right? If you ask me, what would I say to someone who's grieving? I'll say this now. Have you grieved properly? Allow yourself to grieve. And if you could, right, create all the memories you can right now. Because one day when you need it, right, you know that I have lived very well with this person and it was worth. Because death is something that we can't run away from. We already knew. It is even a joke now. There are two things that we cannot escape: tax and death. That's true. But we laugh at it. But guess what? No one's prepared for it. And when I look back, I was like, wow, I'm so thankful that I had so many memories built, right, with my husband. And they were good. And that was the memory bank for me that I could draw. And I wish there's more. So to anyone who is going through now, maybe you can't build a memory now, but at the bedside of that dying person, enjoy. Speak of the memories that you have and enjoy that last smile with that person, right? One. Number two, while you are living, right, live for a purpose. Live for a purpose bigger than you. Not just to live through the systems of life, but live for a purpose bigger than yourself. Help not just one person, help many. I think that became the most powerful motivation for me. Hi, I'm Dawn. This is my story, our story in one story.